So Mariia is a good friend and a long-term ESCN kind of involved with CESAM, one of the key persons who organised the majority of CESAM and kind of a big group. Maria's from Ukraine and has been doing some working as an architect in London. Has also been doing some projects around the kind of getting donations, bringing things together around a kind of public and uniform public library that her husband created called Biblioteka in Peckham. And it's a really fantastic initiative. Now, we were going to have a conversation first with METALAB, which is one of Maria's close friends, who's doing an initiative around how they think about that within Ukraine. But it seems like there's kind of some, maybe power outage or some kind of connection issues. So Mariia was also agreed to give a kind of presentation on some of the things surrounding Ukraine, and also kind of sharing some thoughts on how we can be involved and help with the current situation and what's the best way we might go about doing that, I guess. Is that good?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to start with reading a short text that Anastasiya Ponomaryova, who is now in Kiev, wrote recently, because she's writing like a diary and possibly stuff. So day 45. Today passed with a touch of spontaneity, joy and absurd. I walked down by my friend's cafeteria, which she reopened after 5 weeks. Since her supplies are out of town, she made an open call to whoever can make pies. Please bring pies. And she worked for a donation. It ended up that everyone wanted to make a donation 5 times bigger than the orders. Soldiers stopped by and she wanted to serve them coffees and cakes for free, but they refused because they came here to support your business. Friends came by with pictures and ate cakes and drank homemade favors. Her cafeteria was always an anchor point for our extended community. It is also right next to the president's administration. This is in Kiev. So we stood there. I nodded towards the office. So is Vova Zelensky here? In fact, he wasn't. He and Boris Johnson were walking down the streets of Kiev, capital, and my other friend, Vera, met them accidentally and gifted them ceramic roosters. So now the story about roosters. A photo from Borodyanka. It's a city near Kiev. It was really heavily damaged. Became viral. It shows a kitchen cupboard that remained fixed on the wall after the rest of the building was blown away by the explosion. It made it into the meme, which says it all. How are you, kitchen cupboard? I'm hanging. So on the top of that cupboard, you can see a small ceramic rooster. It's like a sculpture. So this rooster, it happens to be like traditional Ukrainian ceramics that made somewhere in the middle of the country. So my friend Lera thought she wanted to find those and send them as a gift to her Polish friends. As she got them, she was returning back from home with her findings, she accidentally saw Boris Johnson and Vladimir Zelensky in the street, and she came to the guards and said, "I know this sounds really strange, but can I approach them?" And so she gave them roosters as presents, one to Ukrainian President Zelensky and another one to Boris Johnson. That was a little kind of not connected too much. So my friends METALAB, Ivano-Frankivsk, they've been doing some work. They had like a big project on the huge industrial complex that they kind of renovated and brought back to life. But then as the war started, as many Ukrainians were kind of trying to sort out their lives and practically either live in the country or trying to get around the country. They just, this group of people who are mostly women, architects, they just kind of, okay, we're gonna make temporary housing in the west of the country, in the city of Ivano-Frankivsk. They quickly, it happened literally in like first 2 weeks, they quickly found an abandoned dormitory building. And they just like, yeah, we're gonna start this project and we're gonna refurbish the building to make it suitable for internal refugees. So this is what they're doing. And they already, I think they already finished like 1 floor. Maybe you can read something here. Hello. Sorry. Yeah, so they give you, to give you the context on this, it's been like 45 days since the full invasion began. And at the moment there are 4.5 million Ukrainian refugees who left the country. But even more than that, people are moving inside the country. So, for instance, last week, as the Russian troops are retreating from around Kiev, they are expected to concentrate on the east of the country. And so the Ukrainian government told people from the east, if you can, you need to evacuate. But like we're talking about 20 million people. So like, evacuate where? Like where exactly? And across the country, especially on the west, which is like near Polish border, the cities are massively overstretched. Like, so there's like in every apartment there would be like 10 people living already. So there's a huge shortage of accommodation. So what these guys are doing, they're literally just providing this temporary homes that are much needed. And this is the building. It's very nice, actually. I don't know how many photos they have. Yeah, so they just made like an agreement with the local municipality, and they have like different partners, like smaller fundings and stuff. But it is pretty much fundraising money and asking people who live in the city to come and literally paint walls, and everybody who can send donations, basically. So they are collecting money to buy materials, to buy furniture. They are like, it's mostly like shared facilities and separate rooms. So they're like collecting things to create like childcare, like very simple childcare facilities, bedrooms, stuff like that. And yeah, and it's not the only project like that. It's just like that I know them and I can like, I was following them the most. But yeah, people in Ukraine, they are like organizing at extreme levels, and it's not that they. Yeah, we need to do it because no one else will. And yeah, so I would definitely recommend you to follow these guys. They have, I think they have PayPal, they have like all sorts of stuff. And yeah, for example, like I was thinking, if we have one of the fundraisers in London, we can run fundraising specifically for them and like send the money to them directly. What we are doing in London is, how do I do that? We have this independent kind of library space in Peckham, south of London. How do I close this? Can anybody help me? No.
There's a crop that you move the screen on the right. Down with your hand.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Yeah, so basically, like there are obviously many organizations and many communities that are collecting all sorts of Yeah.
You want the Biblioteka?
Yeah,
There you go.
thank you. Yes, so usually it is community centers and like Ukrainian Institute or like a Polish community center in London that are collecting help. So I was wondering, does it make sense to open up another spot? Hmm? Oh, nice to meet you. Hi, Nastya.
Hello.
Okay, Nastya, I'm gonna wrap it up with the Biblioteka in 1 minute and then hand it over to you. Okay, cool. Yeah, so basically the Biblioteka is very simple. We just have this under arch space, which my friend is renting out the whole space and then renting out the studios. So like some parts of it are rented privately as an art studios, and the other part, that part is paying for this little space where we keep the library, basically. So that's the deal, and we have like not that much of a space, but we have some following and we have some communities around like self-publishing and like independent libraries in that part of the city. And yeah, actually it's been quite successful because in 1 month a bit like more than a month now, we collected over 20K worth of stuff. And we are focusing on like critical injuries and first aid, medical equipment and things that are like expensive. It's quite hard to get. So we're asking people to use us as a delivery address or to bring them in person. And we were also, we had one event recently, which was like literally with, I mean, the thing is that you don't have to have much to do that, to be honest. You just have a room and you invite people and you like, I don't know, selling drinks, or like we had an exhibition of books, Ukrainian books that we are showing. And we had like lots of people coming and we just like, how can we help and how can we engage? And it was really good vibe actually. We are also like come across some Ukrainians in London who we didn't know before, and some of them new artists who are in Ukraine, and some of them donated their artworks and prints. So it's kind of very similar to what Pablo was saying. I think it's a universal rule. If you like start doing something, especially if you have a space where people can just come passing by, that's great. And yeah, we have like big plans. That's our kind of what we did in 1 month. So we have some plans for following events. We are planning movie screening as well. We are going to extend on print sale, because obviously having a lot of architects and artists and photographers friends in Ukraine, I think it's important to mention that there are many kind of possibilities and talks about people like how to help refugees coming from Ukraine. But the thing is that according to Ukrainian laws, men 18 to 60 are not able to leave the country. So that means that many people who are not involved in the military service directly, they lost their jobs and they're in the country. So again, that's another way how we can help from here. It's providing jobs or like opportunities that people can take remotely because they are in a safe space, but they cannot leave the country and they don't have a job, but they still make money. So, okay, I'm gonna hand it over to Anastasiya from METALAB.
Thank you so much, Mariia.
Nastya, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, my name is Nastya. I'm an architect. Hello. I joined METALAB team around months ago when I flee from Kyiv with my family. Hello, others. Yeah, and I'm happy on behalf of a big group of people in Ivano-Frankivsk, where is METALAB as a core, to tell a story about our current architectural and social and also ecological and economical challenge. So I think it's quite obvious that today's world is putting something like new for architects, not new like in general, because for many decades, our profession is kind of challenged by many things, yeah, and whereas providing housing and shelters for vulnerable people is one of that. But in Ukraine is something new in terms of like there's the high demand of this. So basically Ivano-Frankivsk now is one of their, if you're familiar, it's West Ukraine, and this is relatively safe region now, and especially Ivano-Frankivsk is hosting now more than 14,000 IDPs. Maybe this number is not really correct because nobody's kind of calculated this accurately, but it's pretty much relevant information, and it's also a pretty much amount of people, like new people coming, and I think they will come more for the city because city is quite small, and most of their vacant spaces are already occupied by those who can afford this opportunity. And many people are behind this option. And I actually started my small research in Ivano-Frankivsk within METALAB group, which hosts me like kindly, because I mean, we were familiar before 5th of February, we knew each other, but we've never worked together. And we did after my resettlement, as I can say like this. So yeah, I did a quick research around the shelters and transit camps in Ivano-Frankivsk, and I figured out how the difficult situation is. And talking to municipalities and other NGOs, I understand that many things that, for instance, transition camps become a sort of interim, like the space for midterm stay, because people don't have options and they stay in transit camp, which is supposed to be the space for them for a couple of nights. And it's creates a really like huge humanitarian problem. And in METALAB team, we decided to kind of to find this opportunity to create this space for midterm use, because we don't want to kind of provide like a very like temporary options for people, because we believe people need more options. I mean, they might decide to come back or move to another city, but they need a certain additional space for like for a couple of months or maybe a year to stay Ivano-Frankivsk and to understand what to do with their life. If you allow me to share something, or I see that you have the website of METALAB is on your screen.
I think you can share. Can you try to share?
Oh, I can share. Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So of course, being challenged by this lack of time and this high emergency of this demand, we did a quick research in Ivano-Frankivsk for vacant spaces. And we skipped many private spaces because we decided that for the pilot project and in order to accommodate just vulnerable group, by vulnerable group, I mean those who don't have money to rent a space, or like elder people, or maybe young mommies with kids, those kind of group, or maybe people with some disabilities. We decided to focus on state property, and we had multiple actually criteria to define this location. not just the property issue. We wanted to have a space with a beautiful environment, like nature or park, and we found a beautiful park, just not in a photo, but this building is just nearby the park in the city center. And we wanted to create also some common spaces for new inhabitants. And we were lucky to meet actually the one project is in the process. I mean, we that's why we call this Kohate project as community lead project, because when we came to this area, we already found some active group. This active group is, sorry, just need to figure out how to, yeah, they are from university, the local Ivano-Frankivsk University. This group consists from teachers and professors from this university, and they already started to do this kind of a sort of repairing, but it was very basic, and we figured out that they need help with electricity, with other supplies, but also with sort of, architecture quality. We would like to add something in order to provide a very decent place, not in addition to basic, which was their initial idea of this group from university. And if you're familiar with METALAB principles and philosophy, they always face on kind of working with locals and support local productions, manufacturers. And we decided to implement this principle as well to this Kohate project. And basically you can see on these photos, Tanya laying on a bed, designed by in a collaboration with METALAB, but also with local production company, and it's quite cheap. So it has many advantages. So it's we decided that it would be cool to have some additional space for storages just behind the bed, and it became one of the criteria for us to choose this metal structure. But not wooden structure, which not allow this additional space for staff. Yeah, and we continue working with many locals for this furniture work. We're actually about to finish the first floor of this building. And it's about 17 rooms for around 40 people. They will come soon, as we understand. And many other stakeholders, including university and some administrative workers from from their district and from the district level, they were quite satisfied by our result, by our effort. We did everything. I mean, it's no way that they wouldn't, because we collect money, we collect knowledge, we collect resources, we provide work, and we deliver the result. And they were so happy that they kind of allow us to proceed with other floors. So we now fundraising more resources in order to move on, because the first floor was quite impressive. I mean, you might find many information about the architecture quality of this area in our METALAB Facebook page and Instagram. We post it constantly. Yeah. So I believe that this case might be sort of inspiration, but also like a toolkit for a housing project in Ukraine regarding this synthesis of economical, architectural, and social quality. So we try to balance between those kind of, resources and a sort of field in order to define the best solution. We don't want to be at too much low cost. That's why we try to do some beautiful furniture as it possible today. We try to create additional meeting spaces, canceling some, this private spaces for more families. So it's quite difficult decision. But we understand that we need to balance between like this private and public and semi-public area. So yeah, regarding this experiment, sort of experiment, might be interested for Ukrainian practice, which lacking this sort of interdisciplinary approach, which is mostly about very, brick and mortar approach, or rather just business as usual. We as a group trying to keep our eyes on what's going on in Ukraine regarding this housing program and how different municipalities, but also business sectors and other professionals are facing this challenge. And we see that it's mostly about creating something new, wherever it's camps or model houses or new sort of middle high-rise buildings. We are really like of this renovation approach, this community approach, where architects work with universities, with someone who can operate the buildings on the next stage. Actually, I am not the one who is going to make this presentation today. Anya Dobrova is supposed to join you, and so that's why my presentation is sort of kind of a little bit messy. I'm more than happy to answer on your question, because we are, this 2 weeks was really intense for us as a team. So I didn't tell, but this project actually started like around 2 weeks ago. And we did many work during this period. So if you have any question, I will be more than happy to answer, and maybe you just give me a sort of clue what are you interested the most in this. Hello?
Whoa, yeah, it's just like incredibly inspiring, and like to see what you've been able to do in just a short period of time. Really puts into perspective, like, I don't know, like when there is like an urgent need for housing, like how yeah, like, I don't know, like, it's just like why can't like housing in other situations be produced like at this speed, and like. Yeah, it's just super inspiring to hear. Like, so we'll need to like share your link around so we can get as many donations as possible.
So I've got a quick question. In terms of how people outside of Ukraine are interested in architecture and the arts and help and support your project, what would your recommendation be?
Actually, we already have many support from outside, from other countries, frankly speaking, the best way to support us is direct action. I'm not like kind of even try to kind of ask, push you to move to Ukraine, but it's just a very honest answer from my side that the best support we have as our I mean, we had a 2 group of volunteers who came from Poland, and they help us just like on the side. They contact us, they ask for help, and they deliver this help just directly to the house. I mean, those guys are kind of exceptional because they had the military experience. They are sort of brave and they're good drivers and they can do it. And of course, it's not for everybody. And I'm not kind of recommend to repeat it, but it's so it's a kind of powerful action from this side. So just imagine we have been working many hours on the side, and we sometimes the energy is a kind of like a jump and like down. And once they came, that we kind of receive like a sort of new level of energy for upcoming days, because they together with us we can, you know, we can talk to them, we can communicate, and it's a sort of body experience is so important. In addition to what they provide regarding materiality, they help us with equipment. They help us to obtain those kind of stuff we could not buy in Ukraine, or we could not produce in a short time. As for instance, is like pans and a sort of equipment for the kitchen. In addition to that, we have many intellectual support. We kind of now thinking about some sort of interview and reflection with those who would like to do with us. So we are at the point we feel that we need to communicate more about the model, and we would like to sort of tell others professionals our, you know, our approach, and we would like to share them. So we need this intellectual communication across cities and even countries as well. Of course, we need constantly financial support, because this first stage costs around 1 million hryvnia, and this a big budget we're happy to collect from different sources, from donation, from small grants, from in-kind support as well. And once we've decided to move on and to do the next floors, we need a more support, financial support as well. We've been providing constantly the reports where we put our money and how we distribute them. We try to be transparent, and it's sort of basic things those kind of organization must do. And we did it as well. We've been doing this as well. What I missed, we will also need sort of design advices. This might be more interesting for you as well to hear that, for instance, we, especially sort of smart design advices, how to do a good stuff with low budget, for instance. This is something we constantly needed. I can give you example that we have discussed our project with our colleagues from Netherlands, and he advised us to test the DIY water heater, solar water heater, and he helped us to choose, like, from many options in internet, the best option for our context. Regarding the material we can buy, and we actually tested, and it works well. So we have at least 10 liters of heated water in our dormitory, which is really important because this old dormitory does not have enough power, electrical power to obtain this kitchen equipment and others. So it's not possible to have boilers for the shower. So the initial power of the building is just for private spaces and for kitchen. So yeah, and this tested model actually helped us a lot, because I think we will move on, and we will provide people with hot water, which is so important. So yeah, if you have something with mind, just share. Keep in mind that we kind of limited with materials, because many production sites are now collapsed. Some of them are kind of recovering and coming back to the routine, but some of them not. For instance, we have a problem with wood, actually, which is kind of surprise for this region. But yeah, if you take seriously my speech, we can communicate, and we will share a kind of state of affair in production, and you can share with us some Creative Commons ideas. We can test it here.
Just wanted to say that 1 million hryvnia is about 26K pounds, and that was 1 floor, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, the floor is about 200 square meters. And if I'm not mistaken, with my calculation, it's yeah, it's possible that I'm wrong, but it's around $30 per square meter. For repairing and for finishing work, for the furniture, for everything which is needed for the accommodation. The dormitory was quite in a bad condition. It was abandoned for many years, and that's why we need to change electricity. We need to change some water equipment as well. We need to change many doors and other elements. So it wasn't just a very simple repairing. We did many works, and this work includes. It's sort of it looks like Yasa, actually. There were so many people on the site for the one day, from 20 to 30 people been working during the one day. I mean, within one day, yeah, but so yeah. If I'm not mistaken with calculation, we had 2,000 square meters, and for around 1 million hryvnia for the full package of work.
Any other? No. Thank you so much, Anastasia, for this wonderful talk, and we'll circulate your project as widely as we can, and we'll kind of have a discussion here as well in the near future. Thank you so much for your time, and I really, really appreciate it, and the room does too.
Thank you for listening.